What's up, everybody? Welcome back to No Faking Sports. I'm your host, David Kincaid, and today we're going to talk about top 25 and how they fared in their games. There will be a change, obviously, with Florida State losing, but let's go ahead and get into these games and talk about it. Last Saturday, August 24th, Florida State loses to Georgia Tech. DJ Uiagalelei is not the answer, is what it is. College football coaches, please understand there are guys that can blossom late. But DJ Uiagalelei is who he is. He doesn't make very good decisions with the football. He's not very accurate. That is not a national championship quarterback. I don't care where he plays. I don't care if he was in Georgia. He will not win you a national championship. They found out the hard way. They lost to Georgia Tech. Congratulations to Georgia Tech for playing the game that they played. They came out, they played physical, they ran the ball. They did what they had to do. DJ Uiagalelei only threw for 193 yards. Next, Missouri and Murray State. Missouri beats Murray State 51-0. I have to swallow a little crow right here. I had Missouri as one of my flawed teams for the 2024 season. They looked very good. I understand it's just Murray State. I'm looking at the play calling. I'm looking at the play design. I'm looking at the power run. I'm looking at how the quarterback moved the football and how he operated within the game's flow. Missouri is a very good football team. Missouri is a very dangerous football team, even with losing their starting running back. Next, Utah and Southern Utah. I'm be honest, I didn't watch the game. They won 49-0. Okay. Congratulations, Utah. Lindywood at Kansas. I caught some of this game. Didn't watch all of it. Kansas really put it on them in the second quarter and put the game out of reach. 27 points in the second quarter. I mean, that's big. Is Lindywood. So we got to wait till they play somebody more of note to really get an accurate prediction. I don't really like to overreact to week one games unless I really see something that a team is really struggling with, or just play design, or just coaching errors and stuff like that. Because when your Jimmies are better than their Joes, of course we're going to get a lot of scores like this, and that's what we had happen with the top 25. North Carolina State played West Carolina. The game was close. It was tied up at halftime. They were losing going into the fourth quarter. So NC State, you got some stuff you need to clean up. Their quarterback McCall threw for 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. The flow of the game, turnovers, and just overall, I think they threw the football too much. Playing a Western Carolina team that should not have been able to be leading you going into the fourth quarter, you just threw the ball a little too much for me. Didn't really execute. So hopefully they figure it out. Friday, August 30th, Temple at my Oklahoma Sooners. If you haven't checked out my video on the Oklahoma Sooner Temple recap, please go check it out. I am not a sunshine pumper. This is No Faking Sports. I'm probably harder on my team than I am any other team. I was not happy with the way the play calling went. I talked about the stats on that. I had the stats to back it up. I really wish we would run the football more on first down. It is what it is. Moving on. Clemson at Georgia. Clemson did some okay things. But the thing about Georgia and Kirby Smart's defense, you're not going to sustain a drive on them. They're going to make you, they're going to take away all the big plays. and they're going to make you sustain drives. They're going to make you they're going to get you to third down and make you convert over and over and over and over and over. I don't care how good your offense is. I don't care how well you have prepared. If Georgia scores 34 points on you in this game, which they did, you don't have a very good chance of beating them. Your percentage just went down a lot lower. And it's very hard to beat them. There were times that, it was 6-0 at halftime. So Clemson's defense was playing very well. But 14 in the third, 14 in the fourth, they just ran away on you. That is a team that will run the football. And they will get into positive yardage situations on second down and third down. Very good game by Georgia. They show why they're the number one team in the nation. I actually have them winning the whole thing again this year. Akron at Ohio State. It's Akron. It's Ohio State. Ohio State showed some things. It was 17-3 at halftime. They played pretty good. They ran the football effectively. They passed effectively. Will Howard, 228 yards and 3 touchdowns. He did his thing, man. So we'll see. We'll see as they go along. Idaho at Oregon. Oregon wins this game 24-14. It was 14-0 going into halftime. Oregon didn't really get much going. I feel like they were dependent on the pass a little too much. Dylan Gabriel is very good on the short to intermediate throws. If you guys want the rest of the analysis, go ahead and go check out that video. It is also on my page. I dropped that a little bit earlier. Colorado State at Texas. Is Colorado State that bad, or is Texas really that good? I don't have Texas playing for the national championship. I honestly don't even have them as a top 4 team going into the playoffs. I think Texas ends up with 2 or more losses this year. Not more than 4, but they're definitely going to lose 2 or more. Possibly. We'll see. Next week, they got Michigan. Michigan handled business as well. They grinded out the team that they played. We'll see what Texas is made of. They won 52-0. Congratulations to the Texas Longhorns. I did see a play around the goal line where Arch Manning kind of rolled out and hit a guy in the flats, and he ran in for a touchdown. Here's the storyline. If Texas struggles against Michigan's defense, does Arch Manning come in? We'll see. West Kentucky at Alabama. Alabama does what Alabama does. 21 points in the first quarter, 21 points in the second quarter, 14-7. Third and fourth quarters. 63-0. They mauled them. Western Kentucky never stood a chance. I think Georgia and Alabama are the top 2 teams in the country. I don't see Texas beating Alabama again this year. We'll see. They both have experienced quarterbacks. So whoever wins that game is the better football team. It is what it is, just like it was last year. I felt Texas was the better football team last year because they beat them. Auburn almost beat them, but they didn't take care of business. It is what it is. Number 6, Ole Miss. They hosted Furman. They won 76-0, 24 points in the first quarter, 28 points in the second quarter, 21 points in the third. And then they just kind of eased off the pedal a little bit in the fourth, only scoring 3 points. Ole Miss did what they were supposed to do. They spread the ball out. Jackson Dart looked very good. 5 touchdowns, 418 yards. They had wide receivers running all over the place. Harris had 8 catches for 179 yards and 2 touchdowns. They took care of business. They did what they were supposed to do. We'll see. Going forward, when they get into conference play, we'll see. How good is Ole Miss? Notre Dame at Texas A&M. I'm gonna be honest, man. I was bored out of my mind watching this game. This game was 6-6 at halftime. I like a good defensive game, but that's not what this is. This was a lack of execution. Yes, the defense made some good plays, but you can look at it two ways. The defense forced the lack of execution, or they just weren't executing. I'm gonna go with the latter and say they just weren't executing. I watched the game. I actually thought Texas A&M would win this game, but in the second half, they Notre Dame ran away 17-7. So it is what it is. And it just, as far as rankings is concerned, Notre Dame is not the seventh ranked team for me. Is Texas A&M 20? Yeah, maybe 26, 27. But Notre Dame is definitely not the seventh ranked team for me. I don't even see them as the top 10 ranked team. A lot of times when these coaches do their rankings, they're looking at what Vegas is doing and they're saying, okay, this is where they have their win-loss total. And they're basing their rankings off the win-loss total. Notre Dame could very much go undefeated or have one or two losses at the end of the season. But they're not winning a national championship. They're not a top 10 football team. Notre Dame fans, if you don't like it, I understand. Drop down in the comments and tell me why you think your team should be the seventh ranked team. Penn State at West Virginia. Unless it's Ohio State or Michigan, I'm probably not watching a Big Ten game. Well, I take that back. I watched USC. But I did watch the highlights. It was just kind of it was a Penn State football game. It was pretty good. Key stats: Drew Aller, 216 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Solid day for him. The leading rusher was Singleton, 13 carries, 114 yards. That's running the football. That's what I like to see. That's what Penn State does. The defense showed up. They gave up 6 points in the second quarter and 6 points in the fourth quarter. The defense showed up and did what they were supposed to do. Next, Fresno State at Michigan. Michigan was only up 10-3 going into the half. Fresno State actually played very well. But in the fourth quarter, Michigan scored 17 points. And that's just what Michigan does. They grind you and grind you and grind you. They don't let you score. And they grind you down and grind you down and grind you down until eventually you break, because they can use their depth. Can your starters, your best players, play a whole football game against Michigan when they constantly have to tackle and get up off the ground and strain? That's what Michigan does. I felt like they called a really good game um, as far as the running game is concerned. They got to figure out something at quarterback. They play 2 quarterbacks. Orji is more of the running quarterback. They put together some pretty good packages for him. They kind of switched him in and out. But as the old saying goes, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterback. Is Michigan the number 9 team in the nation? They're better than Notre Dame. They'll kick Notre Dame's teeth in if they played them. So that's where I'm at on that. Next, Tennessee at Chattanooga at Tennessee. Number 15, Tennessee wins 69-3. The defense played well. It's Chattanooga. Nico did his thing. 314 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. Nico did his thing. He will continue to play well. That is a very good quarterback. Very good quarterback. I'm trying to find a comp for him, but it's just really kind of hard. He's just kind of his own guy. I wouldn't really compare him to nobody else. Nico is a very good quarterback moving forward. I think him and Jackson Arnold next year will be the top quarterbacks in the class if Alabama's quarterback and Jackson Darton or some of those other guys move on. But as the sophomores, uh, those two are very good quarterbacks. South Dakota State at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State, you know what they want to do? They want to come in and run the football, get Ollie Gordon going. 27 carries for 104 yards, 2 touchdowns. They didn't do that last year. They didn't really get Ollie Gordon going until the fourth game of the season last year. This year, they decided to get him going early. Get him going. He came back for a reason. Give him the football. Oklahoma State, as the number 17 team in the country, they could very much will win the Big 12. Behind the legs of Ollie Gordon. Bowman threw for 267 yards and 3 touchdowns. Another year of him progressing. They might very well be a playoff team. UT Martin at number 18, Kansas State. Kansas State drug them out 41-6. They ran the football very well. Giddens, 13 rushes for 124 yards. That is a high rush per yard. Very well running the football. Kansas State just grinding them out. Will they be able to continue that through the season? They're on a collision course with Oklahoma State, of course. Miami at Florida, number 19, Miami. Now, I watched this game as well, the whole game. Cam Ward threw for 385 yards and 3 touchdowns with 1 interception against Florida. Everybody has Florida being kind of a bad team this year. They're saying that they're because of their schedule and this, that. They said the same thing about Oklahoma. Florida is in a danger zone. They're still recruiting at a high level. But if you don't win football games, they start looking around for another coach. And when you start looking around for another coach, recruiting can slip. So Florida got their engine light on. They're going to have to figure something out to salvage their season. If they have a losing season, it might be over for Billy Napier. New Mexico at Arizona. We already knew this was going to be a game in which Arizona would eventually run away, but they gave up 39 points to New Mexico. You guys got to do better than that. Fafita threw for 422 yards and 4 touchdowns. They're going to do that all season. They are going to be up and down the field, slinging the ball to McMillan. He had 304 yards receiving. That is crazy. That is nuts. I saw what they did to Oklahoma in the bowl game. That is a very good wide receiver. You got a couple of guys that are going to be vying for the Biletnikoff Award. But if they're going to do this all season and just constantly feed him the ball, he's very hard to get a hold of. I mean, right now he's leading for the Biletnikoff Award. Those are video game numbers. That is 30 yards a catch. 30 yards a catch and 4 touchdowns. That is insane. Illinois State at Iowa. I did not watch this game. 4-0. Iowa's going to run the football, and they're going to grind you out, and they're going to play good defense. Illinois State, they're nobody. Moving on to USC at LSU. I watched this game. I thoroughly enjoyed this game. There were a lot of big plays. There were a lot of excitement. Kyron Lacey went back and forth. This was a very good football game. Lincoln Riley edges out Brian Kelly. You're already getting the rumblings. I woke up this morning. I just kind of searched through the blogs and searched through YouTube. You're already getting the rumblings about Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly will be fine. He'll win some games. Um, but you can't score 20 points and beat USC. Dare I say USC has a defense? If USC has a defense with the mind of Lincoln Riley, they're going to be dangerous. They're going to be dangerous. When Lincoln Riley was trying to find a new defensive coordinator and he brought in Alex Grinch, I didn't want Alex Grinch. I wanted Brent Venables. Can you imagine if we had Lincoln Riley as our offensive coordinator and Brent Venables as our defensive coordinator? But I digress. USC, they look very good. They'll beat Notre Dame. So they're definitely not the number 23 team in the nation. So we'll see, depending on how this goes, where this is going to shake out as far as teams rising, teams lowering, because LSU is the number 13 team in the nation, and they're definitely going to drop. We'll see how far USC goes up. They should definitely move up a couple of spaces, being the number 13 team in the nation. That is the recap for the weekend, guys. Drop down in the comments. Tell me what you think. Was I off basis about your team, or you think I was right on? Until next time, no faking sports. Peace.